Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. Welcome to the show tonight, guys. As you are coming in, drop a like, say hello, and we are having the discussion tonight about Pepsi's union employees being laid off, and what implications that has because they're union employees. How did Pepsi go about that? And of course, we have our special guest, or I should say, resident, resident representative of all things Black women progression, credit solutionist, Victoria Langford. Say hello, say hello.
Hey girl, hey, happy Saturday to
Hey.
Shelly and to the chat. Hello guys.
Yes. Before we jump in and we do the full blown introduction, go ahead, Miss Langford. Just tell us how things. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I do this right. Let me drop off for a second and go ahead and
Oh,
do the
hey.
floor.
Hey guys, happy Saturday. It is me, Victoria Langford, your credit solutionist. I am the lead debt elimination strategist over at mycreditcall.com. Also, the author of the 90-Day Rapid Repair mini ebook, where we help you secure your financial future within 60 to 90 days. All you have to do is follow the tips and strategies that I lay out for you to get yourself started. So, I focus on helping people become better and more healthy financially by basically saving their reputation, cleaning up those credit reports, and also helping you eliminate debt. So that's about it, Shelly. I'm very happy that you have me on the platform, and shout out to my community that's watching from my channel tonight.
Wonderful! Yay! Let me see if I can do this right. I don't have the sound effects like she does.
I know, I was waiting for the applause.
Yeah!
We
Of
clap for
course.
ourselves, okay?
Of course. And of course, as you're coming in, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time to jump on in here. So go ahead, let's do this quickly. All right, folks, we are back and in full effect. All right, it's everybody that is in here. Say hello, drop a like, see how things are going. On your side, Victoria, I don't see anybody yet, but we are going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover. Based on the little, some little research, and I've been perusing through the interwebs of different things going on, and it seems like Pepsi decided to say bye bye to a good 250 of their employees at the very least,
Mm-hmm.
all entangled with their Teamster employees, not just regular employees,
Right.
but union employees, of course. Oh, hello, Denise. Happy Saturday. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. And we're going to talk about how this is going to either directly or indirectly affect how employers are going to be moving forward now that we are a part of the new administration, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to touch on that piece. We want to touch on, um, did Teamsters or did Pepsi make the wrong move here? How they handled this layoff, or not handle it properly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about the fact that because they're union employees, Pepsi is also subjected to being compliant with the Warren Act. We're going to take a little dive into that as well. And
Mm-hmm.
are they truly compliant based on the information that we were able to find thus far? Are they truly compliant, or are they breaching that act in some way, shape, or form? We're going to talk about that in detail. Of course, Denise, I hope everyone had a nice day today. Yes, ma'am, I certainly did rest. I know Victoria did too. Yeah, as much as, I want to say, oh, let's go, Ruha, we got to rest. Okay?
Girl, I was so tired. I actually passed out in my makeup last night.
Ooh,
I
ooh, ooh.
know. I forgot to
No,
tell you that
listen,
earlier. I was so tired.
I understand. I'm not going to front. I understand. Sugar Bear, we all have those moments where it's like, listen, it's sink or swim. Okay?
Hey, look who's in the house. Hey,
Hey,
girlfriend.
Sheree! Welcome,
Hey.
welcome to the live, of course. That's of course another resident friend of the channel. Go ahead on. And of course, as you guys are coming in, say hello, share it with somebody that would be very, very interested in this conversation, because layoffs unfortunately is sounding a little bit more common in these employment streets these days. So I want you guys to be ready, but I also want you guys to understand that the layoff is not the end of the world, but we're going to talk about that. Now, let's jump in to what we are here to discuss. Let's talk about the initial article I found was the one for Chicago, because this happened in not one but two locations, at least the ones that we know about. So, this article is from Forbes. It was written by Tom Spiegel, the senior contributor. Of course, you see the beautiful Pepsi's there. Once upon a time, I used to be addicted. Thank the Lord for deliverance from the bubbly water. So, all right. PepsiCo, sudden closure of a 60-year-old bottle plant in Chicago, back of the Woods neighborhood, has left over 100, it's actually 150 workers facing unexpected layoffs. The closure, attributed to the plant's physical limitations, came with no warning for employees or the union. They belong to Teamsters Local 727, sparking significant concerns about compliance with labor laws and working protections. In light of PepsiCo's new Colorado facility and its recent closure of an Illinois plant, the employees and their unions are questioning the corporate priorities and legal rights in cases like these. Legal implications and the Warren Act. Of course, we're going to examine that a little bit further.
Mhm.
PepsiCo's handling of the closures raising questions regarding the Workers Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, Warren Act. Under the Warren Act, companies with 100 or more full-time employees are generally required to give a 60 days notice for mass layoffs or plant closures. Teamsters Local 727 claims Pepsi violated the law by announcing the closures without prior notification. We're going to go back to that. Violations of the Warren Act can entitle employees to back pay, benefits, and penalties if they prove that an employer failed to provide legally mandated notice. Based on what we hear so far, they didn't get a notice. They showed up for work and the gates were locked and police were at the door. Breach of collective bargaining agreements, CBA. The union argues that PepsiCo actions breach their CBA, which typically mandates advance notice and discussions on alternatives before layoffs. The abrupt nature of the closure has intensified criticisms of the company, with union representatives condemning the lack of transparency and questioning whether union members' rights were properly observed. Potential recourse for union workers. Thankfully, they have some representation, but we continue. Unionized employees at the bottling plant have several avenues for legal recourse and support. Number one, bargaining and enhancing severance. Although PepsiCo has offered to pay workers for the next 60 days, union leaders are pressing for additional compensation. Employees with decades of service, like Juan Gonzalez, with 45 years, 45 years, are advocating for more comprehensive severance packages, early retirement options, or relocation assistance. Number two, legal actions. Legal action under the Warren Act. Employees can seek legal action if they believe PepsiCo violated the Warren Act regulations. Lawsuits could potentially cover wages and benefits for the duration of the 60-day notice and includes damages for non-compliance. Number 3, filing grievances and unemployment claims. Affected employees may pursue unemployment benefits and file grievances through their unions. The union advocacy could lead to negotiations for additional support measures, including job placement assistance and reemployment services, especially if the workers can show that PepsiCo's actions breached labor laws. Before we go any further, at this point, Cherie, I'm just by going through this, and I haven't even been done yet. There are very many layers to this, and what it also tells me, based on the actions they chose to take, they were like, it may seem like, or it may look like, or it may infer that we broke the law. However, we're willing to take that chance based on the safety of the building. Let me jump back in here. Okay, corporate transparency and future industry impact. As PepsiCo constructs its largest U.S. plant in Colorado and shutters smaller facilities across the country, employees and industry watchers are questioning how corporations handle these transitions. While PepsiCo claims to be optimizing its operations, critics argue that long-term workers bear the brunt of cost-cutting efforts. Furthermore, the union underscores that PepsiCo continues to post significant profits, leading workers to question why more resources weren't allocated to maintain their positions. Environmental and financial considerations. PepsiCo's decision to forego retrofitting the aging Chicago plant for environmental upgrades or enhanced productivity is a growing trend across industries. As more companies close older facilities in favor of modernizing large scale operations, employees are often left without a clear path forward. Unionized workers, in particular, may find themselves fighting for both fair compensation and the respect that comes with decades of service. Unfortunately, not that I don't have any respect for somebody that stays in employment for 45 years, but that respect is not going to pay the bills, unfortunately. Hate to say it like that, but that is true. Key takeaways from union workers facing similar situations. For unionized employees in industry seeing closures and relocations, understanding their rights and potential legal avenues is critical. Number 1, know your WARN Act protections. Under WARN, companies must give a 60-day notice for layoffs or closures, and non-compliance can result in additional compensation. Workers should consult their union reps to verify WARN Act eligibility and pursue necessary claims. They had the over the 100 employee amount to meet the WARN Act requirement. Maximum union support and legal recourse. Union representation is invaluable when dealing with sudden closures through CBA. Employees often have access to severance negotiation, relocation options, or retirement benefits that can soften the impact of job loss. And of course, staying informed and proactive. In light of PepsiCo's continued plant expansion plans, unionized employees face similar scenarios, should monitor their company's growth and restructuring strategies to make sure you're not restructured out. Awareness and union support are essential in seeking transparency and protecting long-term employees' rights. While PepsiCo's closure of the Chicago plant underscores a broader corporate restructuring, it also highlights the crucial role of unions in protecting employees' rights and ensuring accountability across the board. All right, that is article number 1. Now, Cherie, let me see what your implications are, your comments are. Cherie says, in most of these forklift drivers and other employees have been there for 20 to 45 years. It's going to be hard for them to get new jobs. This negotiation for severance is vital to them. Absolutely, positively. I could not Agree more. And if Pepsi is giving them 60-day severance pay, that can count towards the WARN Act. We are going to flesh that piece out tonight because I'm guessing because they know they're subjected to the WARN Act, they threw that in there to see if they could shield some of the blows of actually violating that act. Now, based on what we know so far, Victoria, darling, what is your take on this situation?
So the human side of me is like, this is jacked up.
It is.
As I read more and more and more, I thought, oh God, Pepsi just had to rip off the band aid and had to do so quickly. I think that the safety part, the old building, this is the reason, blah, 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 is really just a smokescreen. I think during this 60 days, they are going to go through that building with a fine tooth comb and find tons of safety issues that will justify telling those people to not come back. So I'm just saying that's how I think Pepsi's going to excuse part of this. As far as, oh, God, y'all, I hate to say this, but I agree, or I'm kind of online with Cherie with the 29 years to 45 years working, blah, blah, blah. The truth of the matter is Pepsi is trying to get back on an upward trajectory. They are trying to be more environmentally conscious. Chicago and wherever else in the Midwest probably ain't the place to do it. They're about to move to Colorado. Did you want to get into the numbers of it yet or no?
Well, we know Chicago is 150, and the other location is Ohio, which is 130.
Right. So that's about 280, right?
Yeah, give or
So,
take.
right. So here's what interested me about it. The Colorado facility, which potentially could have displaced a lot of people, they had 250 employees. But then when they built this new facility, they decided to keep those 250 employees, but also make space for 240, I think, more people.
Mm,
So there still is an opportunity for a good chunk of those people that were laid off in Chicago. And what was the other location?
Ohio.
Ohio. I got to write that down. It gives them an opportunity to bargain for relocation. Now, if they choose not to, that's a different story. But Pepsi is going to have 240 vacant positions in Colorado. So yes, it's going to cause some upheaval, in the people's lives that were laid off. But Pepsi has still created an avenue and an opening for negotiation. I don't like what happened, is what Credit Solutionist is trying to say. This is crappy on all fronts.
It's
But
a
I
win.
don't know.
Yeah.
As the business side of me, though, is like, I understand why they did it, but I wish they hadn't.
Okay. I'll speak to it because, of course, being in HR, I have to be on both sides of it. I can speak to you as an HR professional, and I can speak to you as a career coach. From an HR perspective, this just off the face of it, they made a collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters a few months before this layoff took place
Mm-hmm.
for those specific locations. Apparently, whatever the agreement was, right? I'm not sure. I'm not privy to that. They didn't put that information in there.
Right.
Um, I am going to take a wild guess that they didn't necessarily want to honor that commitment that they made, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. So the legal recourse was to go this route with employees that is going to cost them on the back end of things because I'm almost certain that if they're Teamster employees, they have a very healthy pension once they do retire.
Mm-hmm.
There's costs associated with long term employees that, unfortunately, some of these employers look to their employment with those employees to reduce costs. This is the HR person talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And companies make those decisions and understand that there are ramifications law wise, because we're going to dig a little bit and see how they did this. Did it breach the WARN Act or not? We have to make sure that is or is not a thing, because the way it was, which it was done, it was very distasteful. You didn't give nobody no warning. They just showed up to work one day and the cops are there saying, you no longer have a job. Oh, we'll pay you for 60 days, but you can't come back inside.
Right. I
It's
think
the
that
way.
was
It's the way.
yeah. Yeah, and I think the only reason I was kind of like, "Oh, I kind of understand it from Pepsi's side." In one of the articles, I think it was the one you just read,
Mhm.
one of the employees said, "Well, gosh, if they had told us this months ago, we would have had time to quit." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why they didn't tell you." They know who they employ, y'all. So
No,
he literally, I was like, sir, I mean,
I mean,
he
like,
was
okay.
like, they should have told us so we would have had time to bounce. But it's like, but yeah, that's why employers wait until the last minute.
Well, they wait until the last minute for a myriad of reasons, including that. That
And did you
this is
want to
HR
discuss the
talking to you right
time?
now. Yeah.
Did you want to discuss the time frame yet, or is it you want to talk about it a little later? The
No,
sixty
we'll
day
talk.
thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
I want to ask this question based on the location, like locations, I should say, because
Mm-hmm.
it was Ohio and it was Illinois,
Yeah.
right? Do you think this was done maliciously?
Sheesh. Maliciously, no. No. Um, Mercilessly, yes. You know what I'm saying? But maliciously would mean they were purposely trying to harm a certain group of people. I don't know that I think that's what happened. Like it wasn't a personal blow. It was more like, okay, let's look at these numbers on a sheet. Maybe they're a low producing plant. Maybe, just when they forecasted what the profits were going to look like, how much it would cost to retrofit the buildings, and where does that old 60-year-old building, where does it fit into Pepsi's new initiative to go green? They had some kind of deal with the clothing company now. They're also trying to create like all these different programs for like disenfranchised youth. I think they have something that's going to be geared towards professional women. Like there was a bunch of stuff that I read and I thought,
Mhm.
oh, it's just an out with the old, in with the new. And when you talked about the current administration, I could definitely see that playing a part in it. Maybe they were just trying to preemptively move to where they'd have the most tax breaks and stuff.
Mhm.
But Denver's got that gave them a sweet deal. It's right by the airport. It's in some kind of budding neighborhood. Again, they get I think $1 million in a tax write off or something.
Of course.
There was a lot, so I thought, gosh, the deal to go to Denver is so much more sweeter than trying to stay in Chicago and put a shoe on that doesn't fit. Essentially, that's why I was kind of like,
I mean, listen to me. I know for a fact that I know for sure what companies are not going to do is turn down monies. That's part of
right,
the reason. That's part of the reason Amazon's doing what they're doing right now. 6.9, how much billion reasons for them to
girl.
have people come back to work. So when they make these decisions, I know there's money involved and there's money tied to it.
Of course,
So they're not going to turn down that money. I hate to break it
they
to you.
not.
So and in doing so, sometimes they make some decisions that's not so great. So, of course, Still Rocks. Hello, you are in here. Welcome, welcome to the live. Hello.
Share the
I
stream, guys. Don't forget to
yeah,
share.
yeah, I do want to touch on the article about Ohio. NC Worker, hello. How
Hey.
you doing? Listen, I want to make sure that we understand, guys. These companies are in business to do what? You want to?
Make money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Make money, and that's the unfortunate part about it is that's their first priority.
Right.
Sometimes even before the employees that help them to procure such funds.
Ain't that the
Now,
crazy part?
child, listen here. Let's go ahead and touch on this next Local 12 article about Cincinnati, Ohio. This one says more than 100 workers. This one's not that long.
Okay.
More than 100 workers at the Cincinnati area Pepsi production facility are losing their jobs. December 28th, the company will lay off 136 at the 2121 Sunnyburn Drive location in Amberley Village, according to the filing number under the WARN Act with the state. The layoff includes 49 forklift operators, 16 long haul drivers, 12 machine operators, 10 quality control technicians, and 9 mechanics. A variety of other supervisors, managers, and additional technicians are also impacted. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
Folks, it was a lot of people that got let go. And they do have good skills that are transferable into fields and other manufacturing plants that can be used for sure. Hello, Trey Wilson. How you doing?
Hey, Trey.
NC worker making money, making money with the least amount of people. That, of course, this is where AI and robotics and all the things come in. And a lot of companies are moving in that direction.
That
Of
part.
course. My second question now is we're gonna jump into a little bit. We're gonna do a little let's review the employment law segment. My next question is PepsiCo breaching the WARN Act by suddenly laying off employees without warning. Well, the only way to find that out for sure, ladies and gentlemen, is to look at the WARN Act itself, and based on the information that we have, we can make that determination. All right? So, let's pull that up. That's right, Cherie. It's important for all of us to know our rights.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to, let's pull this up, National Archives, the CFR website, the purpose of the WARN Act, WARN Workers Adjustment and Retraining Notification. Yeah, y'all getting a lesson today. We in class. We in class tonight.
Grab your notebooks, guys.
Grab your notebooks. In order for you to operate within this premise, you got to understand the rights and how they are either being violated or they're being honored based on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of the WARN Act, provide protections to workers and their families and communities by requiring employers to provide notification 60 calendar days in advance of the plant closings and mass layoffs. Now, just based on that sentence alone, folks, did they give them a warning? That will be a no. Okay. Advance notice provides workers and their families some transition time to adjust to the prospective loss of employment, to seek and obtain alternative jobs, and if necessary, to enter skills training and retraining that allows these workers to successfully compete in the job market. WARN also provides for notice to state dislocated worker units so that dislocated worker assistance can be promptly provided. All right. We want to go a little bit further, or do we want to go a little bit further before we come back? Before I come back fully on the screen, let's go a little bit further. I want to make a good understanding of this because I don't want us to be uninformed when we are making these decisions and we're deciphering how does the law apply in this case. Now, these regulations establish basic definitions and rules for giving notice, implementing the provisions of WARN. The department's objective is to establish clear principles and broad guidelines which can be applied to specific circumstances. I just said that. However, the department recognizes that federal rulemaking cannot address the multitude of industries and company specific situations in which advance notice will be given. Okay, we're gonna come back on the screen here for a second. So, based on what we have read so far about this wonderful organization that pretty much let go 280 people in two locations, did they follow the specific tenets of the WARN Act?
So, on the surface, no. I do, if we get to E on there, I wanted to actually discuss it because we were, you and I were chatting about that 60-day thing. Because that's when I put my compliance hat on, right? Because that's been a big chunk of my life. That's even what the credit repair stuff is, right? I look at rules, regulations. Are these collection agencies following the rules, and are they, working within your rights? Now, 60 days. This is the biggest thing we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They basically closed the facility on October 28th, right?
Correct.
Giving them 60 days
Okay.
till December 28th, right? Plus pay. They said, "Hey, you guys don't have to come in, you don't have to work, but this is the day the plant is actually closing." So they did adhere to the 60-day closure part. You and I were talking about it. I'm like, are they really laid off, or is the plant just closed and y'all can't really come back? Like, but I'm guessing yes, it is a true layoff. I mean, I don't know if they got documentation or what that really makes it a layoff, because it just sounded like the plant is closed. But the 60-day thing got me. But then I started thinking about it. Is there some wiggle room here? Because can Pepsi now come back and say, based on paragraph E, when we get to it, that maybe it was more advantageous for everyone's safety to close the plant? So much so that we're willing to go into litigation and all of that, because we've already figured this out. We said, okay, it's not the ideal decision, but we're still going to do it because there's a clause in the WARN Act that says that if we decide to do something, we can. We just have to accept the ramifications that come with it.
Let's go over part E, shall we? Just because it says ambiguous situations. Let's see if they're skirting in the gray. The thing about employment laws, which you all guys also have to understand, being in HR for as long as I have been, you have to understand how to operate in the gray. Okay?
Okay.
Which is where objectivity becomes extremely important. Now, notice in ambiguous situation, it is civically desirable and it would appear to be good business practice for an employer to provide advance notice to its workers or unions, local government, and state when terminating a significant number of employees. Duh. In practical terms, there are some questions and ambiguities of interpretation inherent in the application of the WARN Act to business practices in the market economy that cannot be addressed in these regulations. Ugh. It is therefore prudent for employers to weigh the desirability of advance notice against the possibility of expensive and time consuming litigation to resolve disputes where notice has not been given. The department encourages employees to give notice in all circumstances.
So I figured Pepsi might try to pull that and say, we
There,
gave notice. It may
if
not have been how you wanted it, but we gave it.
if they have a good attorney, they could use this as somewhat of a way of wiggling out of this nonsense.
That was
they,
my only question to you, because I was like, girl, because they were so bold about it. I'm like,
but
no, they're
it
looking for a
still,
loophole.
but it still says to do what? Give them notice. It still says to give them notice. But what did Pepsi decide to do?
They That's the part. Yes, the layoff part. I wholeheartedly agree with it. But what I'm saying is that, are they truly laid off, or is it, hey, you could still bargain to get those positions in Colorado, and we'll pay
Um,
your way, we'll do whatever.
I am going to almost suggest if somebody has been in an organization for 45 years, how old are they?
Old as dope. Never mind.
Don't say it. Okay.
Okay, girl. Look. I was like, hold up.
You're like, come on back. Now,
I'm gonna say like powdered milk. They're a little old. They're a little old. A little long in the tooth. That's what my mom says. Long in the tooth.
that one better jugglers. Oh Lord. Okay. How long have they've been with the organization? Pretty much the totality of their working life.
Mhm.
So this person is at least in their what, 60s?
Yeah, at minimum.
Okay. At minimum 60s, right? Some of them may be in their 50s and 40s because a lot of the employees from both of those plans, they're long-term employees that are due some hefty benefits,
Hmm.
because it's not just their salary, it's their full compensation including benefits that's covered for the 60 days.
Right.
If you But a part of their CBA, um, what a lot of the long-term employees are wanting to negotiate even more for, or to get into litigation for, is to get funds to move, most likely to move to take advantage of some of those opportunities in their new plant,
Hmm.
if they have space availability and they qualify for that. They still have to. I'm gonna guarantee they have to apply like everybody else, and they're not going to get preferential treatment because they've been with the organization for 20 years, although all of that should be considered. But I'm almost going to guess they're going to want a fresh new batch of folks, because
Hmm.
part of why they did it this way was to release some of their expenses with the older employees, because the older employees are probably getting paid more, and you can get cheaper labor when you hire new,
And they'll work harder.
and they'll work harder.
Hmm.
I'm talking like this. This is the HR person talking. Now I'm going to switch hats in a second, because the career coach in me is like, these dot 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 dot. We're not going to use the language, but these just did not. First of all, you could have told the union you was going to let them folk go. Ah,
I mean, they could have.
but they
Have you
didn't.
ever been in a union before, or are you in one?
No. I have worked for one,
Mm.
for, in my, and there are times when I take on temp assignments and things of that nature. This was years ago.
Hmm.
um, there's a reason a lot of the companies are no longer offering pensions anymore. Some of these pensions are very lucrative,
Hmm.
and that's also why, a lot of employees pretty much lose their ever loving minds if somebody ever messes with their pension, because
Right.
that is going to make their retirement lives a whole lot easier. And I'm going to almost veer to they wanted to save money on the old employees, so they decided to, without notice. That's I'm saying the quiet part out loud in a sense.
Well, okay, and I guess in legal terms, they did it without proper notice.
Without proper
That's
notice. However,
right.
the problem with the Warren Act is that they give them a little bit of room to be ambiguous.
Yep.
But we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep it pushing. Yes, Sheree, we need to absolutely know our rights and read that through and through. Still,
Hmm.
Ron says, I was at a big bank, in the comp email. They would always say trimming the fat every few months/years. I took that as you better improve your skills and get ready. People would act so stunned, but then again, but they said it though. They did say
Hmm.
it. And that's exactly what that means. Yikes. They
I
said that
mean,
to y'all.
listen.
Trim the fat. Oh, I have worked or been in organizations where I really should have sued this organization, to be quite honest.
Oh,
Now,
word.
yeah, I've been in an organization where they literally have a wooden plaque on the wall with a rear end drawn with a
Mm-hmm.
line underneath it. What do you think that means?
Wait, aster grass? What does it mean?
No, there's a line underneath the bone.
Underneath the booty? Hold on. Let
Yes.
me draw that out. Let me draw it.
Yeah.
I mean, drop your ass, or we'll drop your
No,
ass.
no, your proverbial
Your ass
butt.
is grass.
No, your proverbial butt's on the line.
Girl, I would have walked into that place every day so confused. I would have been like, my ass is grass.
No,
Drop it like it's hot.
no,
What is this line in this buttocks, Mister
because
Mister Supervisor? What is this?
because that was the proverbial attitude of that entire organization. Because they were. I'm afraid to say what industry they're in, because if I say the industry, people will be able to pinpoint where it is or what.
Really?
Yeah, because they're kind of known for being a little pervasive in their communication. I'll say that.
Do you think your butt's always on the line anyway, though? They just were
I
crude
mean,
about it?
they said the quiet part out loud. They're not to say,
Right.
yeah. Let's be clear. We're in an employment space, and I want to make sure that I'm not just speaking from an HR standpoint. I'm speaking from a career coach standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get in a little closer because I want to make sure I make
Hey, y'all.
your butt's always on the line. If it's not your own organization, always keep that in mind. That's something that we all have to face if we are working in as an employee in any capacity. Your butt's always on the line.
Mm-hmm.
If you're running your own organization, you are at the mercy of who? Your clients. Because if you have clients, you're going to have to satisfy them, and you're going to have to make sure that you're providing the service that they signed up or they're paying you to provide, or
True.
the products that you're selling, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. So, of course, in one way, shape, or form or the other, your butt's usually on the line. However, that may not be the first thing you want to tell people when they walk in the door. And they were
Mm-hmm.
very proud of that because they liked that, and they created that. I remember.
It sounds very tense.
Um, let's just say that was my first experience in the workplace of
Mm-hmm.
being in a very racially tense environment.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they lived up to that motto in every way, shape, or form possible. I'm surprised.
Dang, now we want to know who it was. Spill
No,
it. Can we get
no,
the first letter?
no,
The
because
third letter?
no.
I feel like I know who it is, and if it's who I
If I
think, then
really,
I know why you don't want to say anything.
because if I say it, I probably want to pursue that lawsuit because they. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that be.
Okay, sister.
But I do also. You see, let me make sure now. There's a couple more questions I wanted to pull. We did go through a little education um, just now as far as what what you guys think if they breached it. The way they did it was distasteful,
Mm-hmm.
but the true essence of the law, or the true essence of what they did, had they not given the 60 days of pay and benefits,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, oh hell no. Y'all ain't doing
Right.
these people right. And these people been working for y'all for 45 years. Like, miss me with all of that. Like, really?
Yeah.
That's how y'all doing, people? Come on, man.
And I think
Um,
Pepsi is going to negotiate. I think that they're going to hear out the union folk. They're going to, because they want to know what they want, and Pepsi's probably more than happy to give it, because if it's going to, again, if it's out with the old, in with the new, this is just the cost of doing business. You know, it is. And the retirees even said in the articles they were going to be ready to go anyway. They said we need a severance. Severance means they wasn't coming back anyway. And like I said, Pepsi already knew this. This is why they did it that way. They were like, look, y'all not about to be calling out. Y'all not about to be. No, we got product to move, y'all.
They tried to say, let me hold on to the labor.
Girl,
Wait. Hold
look.
on to the labor until we're like, no, bye-bye, go away.
Uh-huh. That was it.
Listen to me. If this does not reinforce this fact, I don't know what will. You, as an employee, are in the business of you.
That's it.
You're not in the business of being an employee for 45 years and think that's going to shield you from being fired.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Because that doesn't mean anything to anybody but the employee. The time that you've been there, you know, you're an expense to the employer. At the end of the day, it
You're a higher
sucks.
expense because you were there when they were giving pensions. They don't give that now. A
Yeah.
lot of it. I could probably name what Pepsi and maybe UPS and maybe another one and maybe Delta if you've been there for a long time. They get
Mm-hmm.
pensions anymore. So if you're in an organization that has a pension, hold on for dear life so you can keep your pension
I'm telling
because
you,
not many people have that anymore. I'm
now is
being
not
so
the time to quit.
I,
It is
I
not the
may
time
be
to quit.
giggling, but I am so serious right now. Okay, please, if you can, hold on. Listen, they may be getting on your nerves, but hold on to that pension because those pensions pay out quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them make Social Security look like a joke. No, some of them are a joke compared to
Yeah.
the Social Security. Oh, jeez. When I tell you, still rocks. Let me go. Still rocks, as they would say, we're going to sell off this sector. Ooh, sell off this sector of the business. Start charging clients for a certain number of statements, and we're going to start closing certain branches early. It was inevitable for job cuts. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
the banking industry is wild, just as bad as the insurance industry. You can always be fired. Yes, ma'am. You can always be fired or laid off. So just like how they're trimming the fat and they're examining on a quarterly basis, do they need you? Do they not need you? You need
Right.
to be doing that in the job market as well for yourself.
Because you're
Okay.
always at will, right, Show? And people
Well,
don't. They can you explain it? Like, can you kind of give us a quick breakdown of what
the,
at will means?
the definition of really the breaking down the simplistic way of looking at will, they can terminate you for any reason at any time as they see fit. Now, do they want to do that? Absolutely not. Do they want to do that without the proper documentation? Absolutely not, because they could put themselves in liability for wrongfully terminating you.
Mm-hmm.
So, they at will, yeah, you can terminate for anything you want, but if there's cause or they can find the employee can find reasons say, well, they terminated me because I'm a part of a protected class and only I'm the only person there, and they picked on me, and
Mm-hmm.
they harassed me, and they this and this and that. And if you can show documentation of that, uh-oh. The burden of proof in a lot of those type of cases is on the employer. So it's
That's
very
gonna be
important.
so tough because that
Mhm.
Pepsi has like a DEI section in their earnings report too. So even if they try to pull that on the employee side, it's almost like Pepsi got all they ducks in a row for every
Honey,
possible, you know.
honey, listen, they calculated the risk, the rewards, and said
Telling you.
it's better for us to pull the trigger. Bloop, bye.
And how many people in those plants, Shelly, honestly, between Ohio and Chicago, like how many of those people do you think read the earnings report from 2023?
What are you asking me?
That's what I'm saying.
Hold
It's
up.
like, and
I'm
it's so
sorry. I'm
crazy.
sorry. Wait. First of all, let's be clear. You lucky they read the handbook that they're supposed to read. That they've been there
Okay.
for how long?
Can you
if
touch on that?
okay, let me put it to you this way. There may be 1 or 2% of the employees that actually read it because they're interested and they want to keep up with things. Honey, I
And I'm not
I
laughing at
conduct
these people.
orientation. No, no, no. I'm be real now. I put my
Yeah.
HR hat back on. Career coach. Hold on. Stay over here for a second. I conduct orientation on a regular basis, and I give them the handbook. I want you to sign off on it, but I need you to actually read what's in there because you are held accountable to what is in the handbook. Baby, most people don't read it. I did
Hmm.
because that's just me. If you put something in the book, you ain't gonna hide it from me. That's saying when they came up with that phrase, if you want to hide something from people, you can put it in the book. I'm not one of those people because I'm gonna crack that book open and read from
Hmm.
cover to cover, maybe once, twice, or 3 times, depending on the information I'm looking for. So you ain't never talked
Mm.
about me when you said that. But if people read the information that their human resources department gives them when they get hired, half of the stuff that we have to deal with when it comes to employee relations at HR, we wouldn't have to. It's really that bad. People don't read.
That's why
They,
most people have issues on my in my
yeah,
business too.
they
They don't
don't read.
read.
That
Yeah.
like literally, here are the instructions on how to put this thing together. Right? Step one, take it out of the box. Step two, put this part to this part. I'm sorry. I got to break it down like that because it isn't really that simple sometimes. And sometimes people make simple things difficult because they don't want to read.
Why do you
Woo!
think that is?
Because somehow they think, oh, it's not important, it's too boring,
Hmm.
and not realizing that you put yourself at a disadvantage when you don't have all the information and you don't understand how to maneuver
Hmm.
in this organization. If you have
Right.
any qualms, if you have any kind of goals to move up in the company, it behooves you to know what kind of company you working for.
Right.
Don't you want to read the rules to see how you maneuver and operate in that organization? It's important. You got the information. You're
Hmm.
supposed to read it.
Right.
I can't urge you now. This is part of why I go over certain policies, and I have seen people. I go over certain policies that everybody's supposed to know about, and everybody's asked to has to adhere to it.
Hmm.
And then people, when they're getting fired because they're not compliant with that policy, will say out of their lying mouths, "Nobody went over that with me in orientation." And that's one of the policies I go through in detail, like literally sit
Yes.
there and read it with you face
Right.
to face.
Right.
Right here on page 2, it says, some people, I'm sorry, some people are retarded.
Oh.
'Cause,
Oh. Oh. Well.
I'm sorry.
You said it. I didn't listen.
Yeah, some people choose to be retarded. Let me say that.
Do they know they're being retarded? I mean, do they know?
When they sit up here and straight up lie to their leaders and say, "Oh, nobody went over that with me." Really?
Right.
Seriously. Anyway, back off my tangent. Let me go to these comments. Yes, Cherie, you're absolutely in the business of you, and you better
Girl.
negotiate like it, and you better operate in that organization like you're in the business of you, because at the end of the day, the business
Hallelujah.
people are in the business to keep their books in the black, not the red. And if they feel like they got to choose between you and keeping their books in the black, they're going to pick the black. Sorry. In that case, they like black.
I
Like,
was just gonna say, girl, clarify because y'all they ain't picking this. Okay,
yes. And,
she ain't
and
mean that kind.
meaning that they want to keep their cha-ching flowing into the organization and
Yeah.
keeping cha-ching from leaving the organization. So
Yeah.
let's put it like that. Let me make sure that that's understood. Still Rock says that's a video within itself, Eltor. I hardly ever read an employee handbook unless I was trying to find a way in and out of something. Don't wait for that to happen. Please read it anyway.
There you go.
Please read it anyway because it will also help you to figure out, right, if this is an organization that has policies that can help you to maneuver through and be promoted. But if you don't crack it open, you got to read it. Please read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's one of those. I find myself urging people when I'm doing orientation. Please don't let me see you on my attendance write up list. I don't want to have to do it, but you determine that. So,
Mm-hmm.
anywho, yeah. You said Cherie says, yeah, people don't read. Lots of times they don't know. Oh, that's true too. We in 2024. There are tools. There is a reading teacher on YouTube right now that is
Mm-hmm.
teaching people how to pick up how to use that particular how to use that particular skill or how to develop that skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can use YouTube to learn how to read. That's how elementary and that's how advantageous technology has helped people. So take advantage of it. If you know how to watch the latest music video, but you're having a challenge with reading,
Mm-hmm.
just for reading tutors on YouTube, that's a public service announcement because I know there are people out there that do struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, there's help if you want it. You gotta want it because I can't want it for you. You know, as I say to people, listen, the education that I got, I had to get it for myself. I can't get it for you. You gotta get it for yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still Rock says, and now with electronic signatures, a lot of HR stuff seems to be super simplified. It's so easy to scroll down and e-sign, but you get a copy of everything you e-sign because legally we can't force you to. We're not going to have you sign things you have no information or privy to. You get a copy of that for your benefit because we have to make sure you are informed of what you are being held accountable to. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Stir Rock says, yes, some people, even me early on, heard that business jargon and automatically turned their ears off. Please don't do that. Don't let somebody get a job paying more than what they are used to and they ain't read nothing. Just sign away. Please don't do that. Don't. Please don't do that. Oh, Lord. Trey says, I wonder if the same or similar tactics will be used for ILA workers that went on strike. Anything is possible because they did go on strike early and cause a lot of commotion and a lot of tension. Don't think senior leadership did not see that.
Mm-hmm.
And don't think for one second that a lot of those, maybe those bridges or the equipment that they use out there on those ports
Mm-hmm.
may need some repairing soon. That could be used. Anything is possible. I would not be surprised at all if that's an excuse to some people. That would not be a surprise at all. Um, Still Rock says, I bet I bet you're I bet you that has a lot of subs, oh Lord. Sam Marie. Hello, Sam Marie. Greetings. Hello,
Hey,
darling.
Samri.
How are you? Listen, but I'm gonna put the HR hat to the side for a second, and we gonna put the career coach hat on. Here's why. I want to make a plea out to the employees that this has happened to. This ain't the first time a bunch of people have gotten laid off. They show up to work, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's not gonna be the last. There are three things I want you guys to be aware of as far as if you've ever been in this situation and you're like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Because you're used to having your money come in and then all of a sudden, well, at least with these people, let me say this, at least with these people, they have 60 days. But do they? They have 60 days, but do they really have 60 days? Because this is going to fly by fast.
Yeah.
What I would suggest, see what you can do about having something bringing in money
Mm-hmm.
right away. If it's not telling everybody to go do Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash, but it brings money in.
Yep.
If it means, in the meantime, getting a certification, becoming a mobile notary, that's something that I've done. That brings in money. Our good friend K Business was talking to the other day on his channel about process serving.
Mm-hmm.
That could be something you could look into, depending on where you are. Something you can get pretty quick. An insurance license. Something you can get pretty quick that if you put a little time in there, you can get money off rip. You could start. There's a lot of people in my generation, Generation X. Yes, I told on myself a little bit, but Generation X and some older that have started YouTube channels. That's now become a little trend. But what I will say about that is this: make sure you're offering some form of product or service when you're doing those type of things,
Mm-hmm.
because going on there just to talk about your day is going to be very short lived. Have some form of valuable product or service that you can offer.
Yeah.
Not just talking about, well, I'm driving to the car to go to the supermarket and blah 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 blah. No.
Life is great, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. Some people may hit a lick on that. That might last for a couple months, and then, well, you have to
Mm-hmm.
have some form of a business or product or service to offer people that people are going to continuously pay for.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is this: find something that is bringing in money to make sure emergent situations can get addressed, and then make sure you are also revising and updating your career tools. This is where I come in. I do have consultations available for resume and for career strategy. And if you're looking to also leverage your credit at its current state before before the 60 days is up, definitely consult with the credit solutionist here. Let me see. Looking. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Let me make sure I put her links in the chat so you guys can also grab some of her services and products. She has some products available on her YouTube channel as well. What is the name of the book, Cherie? I'm
I
sorry,
don't
what
know,
was
girl. I'm allowed to say Cherie ain't on the live stream, girl. Cherie, girl, what's the name of the
it?
product? No,
No,
no, it's I'm the author of the 90-day rapid repair mini ebook.
yes.
Okay, guys,
Okay.
very
And
affordable.
sorry about that. I
It's
listen.
okay.
I call both of their names all the time, so of course, um, I had
It's
to.
like when your parents call your siblings names and not yours. You be like, "Look,
You're
ma, I'm
like,
standing right in front of you."
Susan. Susan.
Okay.
Jamal. Oh, sorry,
Okay, you be like, "Ma, I am not Jamal."
David. David. Oh, you were trying to call you. After a while, they just say you.
They be like, "You know who I'm talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, you said Jamal, not me." So, hey, woman,
Okay.
please.
And of course, if you are looking to make that transition, if you're laid off and you're looking to make that transition into business ownership, definitely check out Miss Victoria's, what was it, Small Business Blueprint. The links
Mm-hmm.
are in the chat as well. And of course, I am also here to help. If you are strapped for cash, but you definitely need to get that resume going, I do have a resume guide available. You can go to mentorshelly.com / resumes. But before you go, guys, before we do head out, I want to ask, do you guys have questions, concerns that you want me to address? Make sure you are addressing the things that need to be addressed first. Make sure you have some kind of money coming in, and then dive deep into seeking alternative means of income, whether it be getting that resume sharpened up, getting your career strategy in place, which I help you both of those things, because a layoff like this can definitely rock you to the core, especially if you've been working for an organization for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
That is understandable. I wanted to talk about this not just because it's PepsiCo. I want to talk about this because this is happening in a lot of IT companies now. This is
Mm-hmm.
happening in a lot of areas where robotics and AI is pretty much taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Cherie or anyone else that is in the chat, do you guys want to add anything else to the discussion, or let me know. Go ahead and put something in the chat before we go. But while you're working on that, Victoria, any last words? I'm going to put you on there by yourself. Okay.
Girl. Okay. Oh, hey, y'all. Hope the audio's good. Really, this is a cautionary tale, everybody. I came on and told y'all yesterday, life is not going to be easy. Anything that we get in this life, we're going to have to work for. And if you've been on your job, I'd say even more than 5 years, it's really time to skill up. Look around. Are you the only one that's left out of the original hires for your department or your job description? Then it's time to skill up. I understand, it's easy, comfortable, but that's the problem. You're comfortable. You're too comfortable. And I say now is the time. Everything's been shaken up, even in the last week, the last 4 years, I would say. And we need to take advantage of that. Let's not get mad about it. Let's not stay in our feelings too long. We need to harness that energy into the next step, the next phase of our life. So I offer the small business blueprint because maybe you already have a job where you're established, but you're looking for something else. You're looking to pivot. That's where the small business blueprint comes in. You can, whatever your 9 to 5 is, okay, transition some of those skills into your 5 to 9. And eventually, that particular skill that you're developing, whether it's through your product or service, you can move that and then start to, provide that service to people. And the beauty of it is, who cares if Pepsi Cola or PepsiCo lays you off, because you've already got this ace in the hole, which is your service business on the side that compensates for everything anyway. So you can sit on your severance from your job and then continue to produce an income producing venture on the side there. So, I mean, there's a way out of this, you guys. I really don't think that this Pepsi story, while it is sad, it's also polarizing. You know what I'm saying? And you need to look at this story and figure out what side of it you are going to sit on. Are we going to sit and cry, or are we going to get motivated to make something happen? And either way, I'm here for you, whether it's credit repair or going into that next phase of your life of income producing ventures. So yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But thank you to my audience for coming through too for this simulcast with Mentor Shelly. And we do hope to see you guys on the next one. Shell, girl, you still there?
I am here. And before we go, Alonzo, hello, darling. It is welcome to the live. Definitely go ahead, and when you do get a chance, go ahead and rewatch. But
Yeah.
before we go, I want you guys to be aware that thank you all so much for all of those you are sharing my channel and sharing. I really do appreciate it. I want to shout out to K Business. I literally saw he posted my channel onto his page, and I am officially at 500 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And
I
I
saw that. I was like, is she going to say something? Because I was
I
like,
am
wait a
on the
minute.
road to 1,000. So I am very much appreciative to everyone that has been participating in that venture. I will continue and forge on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And hopefully very soon, we'll be getting into some other things. And of course, my focus is on extrat wives still. So of course, the guide is always is going to be available to you at mentorshelley.com/ETW. And of course, guys, I am here to help you to become a better professional, whether you're doing that you're re-entering the job market, or you're looking to shape up those career tools that you have, or you want to make sure that your interview and salary negotiation skills are sharpened. Thank you so much, Cherie. I do appreciate it, and I will continue to forge on. And of course, you guys, I am in great company because these ladies have surpassed these goals far quicker than I could have. But at the end of the day, onward and upward. And I appreciate every one of my subscribers. They are quality subscribers
Mm-hmm.
because they are here to become better professionals. And I want to make sure I do whatever I can to help them do just that. And of course, this is Mentor Shelley, the Dream Career Coach and HR consultant. And of course, I always get this mixed up, the direction here. Am I doing this right? This way. Yes, this way. And Victoria, the credit solutionist, joining you guys tonight and sharing this with you and sharing our perspective. At the end of the day, we're here to help. I'm here to help you become a better professional. And Victoria, you are here to help our wonderful people do what?
Listen, become a better version of yourself financially. I'm here to
Yay!
help. Listen, I was gonna tell y'all, I got a initiative this year. I want everybody to get infected with the tall poppy syndrome. I want you to be the tallest. We're gonna talk about it someday, but you need to be the tallest poppy. Don't be at the same level with everybody else. You need to be the one that can see above and see what's coming and where you can actually get to.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And do not doubt yourself if you start to get those feelings and that inkling to just set yourself apart. Go for it.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your participation. We enjoyed your commentary and your contribution, Cherie, Alonzo, Still Rocks, of course, Trey Wilson. Let me see here, and all of who this won't let me go back. Sam Reed. Oh
Mm-hmm.
Lord. Let's see here, and all of who joined us tonight. NC Worker, I don't want to, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
Denise Joe, of course, as always, here to support the channel. Thank you guys so much. This is Mentor Shelley and Victoria heading out. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.